Listen closely. One of my biggest learnings from all of this, and I'm embarrassed that it's taken me 25 years to realize this. It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yes.
Condemn those who feign superiority because of the color of their skin. Friends, hold friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, we must hold our authorities accountable. Police officers, politicians, policymakers. As Killer Mike said, bully the politicians at the voting booth. Make your voice heard. Attend a protest. Speak up against injustice. If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are fucking blind. You are delusional and you are part of the problem. I can count on 0 hands the amount of times that I have feared for my life at a routine traffic stop. That has never happened. Half of the reason I'm able to get away with some of my hooligan shit I do in my vlogs is because I'm a white kid. I'm confident that I do not have to fear for my life should the cops show up. Acknowledge and weaponize your privilege. I believe we're going to a protest today. You can bet your fucking ass I'll be in the front line. Knowing all this about America, its racially charged background, its inability to truly treat humans as equals, even after 244 years since its inception, we must now work towards finding the solution. And if you are an influencer or celebrity friend of mine, I hope you are using your platform to continue to spread the message of solidarity and unity. I do not have all the answers, but I know we must now reverse engineer the system as a collective. We must open our eyes and realize that there is only one race, and that is the human race. On behalf of Breonna Taylor, we must change. On behalf of Ahmad Aubrey, we must advance. And on behalf of George Floyd and the hundreds of others who have been unjustly murdered in this country, we must evolve.
However, I would ask, not only to him, just to the general media, where is all that right now? Just a question. So I looked at the Logan Paul video, everything I agree with, of course. And now I just want to see, in case actually y'all don't know. Right here is the tweet that she put. Logan loves to challenge people in the boxing ring. I'd like to publicly challenge him to go a few rounds with me in a political debate. At Logan Paul, how about you stop by my show and explain to me how you're, checks notes, more privileged than me because you're white and I'm not. And this is based off of the entire, basically Black Lives Matter white privilege conversation he was doing, the talk that he had, and the speech that he gave. And then later on, she puts out another tweet. Anyone know the name of the dude with the underbite sitting next to Logan Paul, who is quote unquote disgusted to learn that there's a black woman who doesn't see herself as beneath a white man? Imagine being this upset to find out there's a black person who isn't oppressed. Because on Logan's podcast, he talked about this once again, how it went revival.
Last week, we introduced a new segment called Counterpoint. I challenged Ibram X. Kendi to come on the show and discuss his philosophies on racism. This week, Logan Paul, who's a YouTuber, got some attention for his own recent anti-racism rant. I invited Logan on the show, and by the way, I want to be very clear that he may actually join me in the near future. I appreciate the fact that he was willing to have an open dialogue, and I may go on his show in the near future. But for right now, I want to make sure that we break down his comments because they did go viral, and it is very important that people know the other side of the argument. Very important that we challenge this in today's Counterpoint. So we're going to break up this video. Let's start from the top.
It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yes.
Condemn those who feign superiority because of the color of their skin. Friends, hold friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, we must hold our authorities accountable.
Okay, I think it's a good start. I mean, I agree with that, obviously. If there's somebody around you that is being racist, you should hold them accountable and say, hey, that's not really cool. So I thought he's off to a strong, very strong start here. The problem is that he continues.
If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are blind. You are delusional, and you are part of the problem.
Okay, so in the first portion of this clip, he
God.
tells us that people shouldn't feign superiority because of the color of their skin. And then in the second part, he has just told me, a black person, that he is better than me. He is more privileged than me because of the color of his skin. And that if I don't buy into the idea of white privilege, meaning that white people are more privileged than me, then I'm an idiot. Does that make any sense? Think about what I'm actually saying here. There are a bunch of white people who are doing what he is doing right now. They're going around and saying, I am more privileged than you because of the color of my skin. Is that not the very definition of racism? To look at me and to say, you know what, you're black, and therefore you are underprivileged. And look at me, I am white. You're an idiot if you don't see that I am more privileged than you. How do people not understand that that is the very definition of racism?
I had to oh. See, I see what she's trying to do. She's trying to flip the switch. No. What these people are saying right here is that no matter if you try and change it, the way the American system works because of slavery, civil rights, Jim Crow, segregation, etc., is that white people have been put on top. Right? That's what we're saying. White people have been put on top and everyone else is at the bottom. If you're a straight, white, male, you are the epitome of what everyone wants you to be. So what Logan Paul is saying here is that white people, you have privilege. Because people aren't going to take you as a threat when you walk into the grocery store. Because you can scroll. Here's a simple one. You can scroll on Netflix for days and days and days and always see your people represented. You can do this, that, and the third without being taken a threat, without being held accountable for the things that you do. You don't have a negative relationship with the police. What he is saying is not that he is better than you, but that the system has made it seem as if he is better than you. It is not that he's trying to say, I am better than you. He's saying the system has made it seem that I am better than you because of the color of my skin. And that sucks. That is horrible. However, if that's the way the system is, I'm going to use the system and completely flip it on its head and say, if the system thinks I'm better than you, I am not better than you. I'm going to use what the system thinks in order to help push you forward in society. That is what he's saying.
Logan Paul goes on. Let's watch the last clip.
I can count on zero hands the amount of times that I have feared for my life at a routine traffic stop. That has never happened. Half of the reason I'm able to get away with some of my hooligan shit I do in my vlogs is because I'm a white kid.
Okay, so this is probably really gonna shock Logan, but I have never feared for my life at a routine traffic stop. In fact, 2 months ago, I was speeding in Montauk and I got pulled over, and at no point did I fear for my life. I maybe feared for the fine of the ticket because I happened to be in New York, but I definitely did not think that I was going to be killed by a police officer. What Logan Paul is doing here is he is making an assumption, a very racist assumption, that all black people are having the same experience at all times. He is saying, you know what? One black person has a bad experience with a cop. Therefore, that means that all black people must have a bad experience with the cop. That's racist. We are all different individuals regardless of our skin color. There are going to be some white people who are terrified when they get pulled over, particularly white people that have records and have reasons to fear the police when they have to interact with them. There are going to be black people that have those exact same fears because of similar interactions. But trust me, Logan, there are plenty of us who do not fear.
Let me just pause for a second. Logan's assumption about black people not being able to have the calmness within themselves is based off of what we are seeing in the media, right? What's being portrayed by a lot of African Americans currently is that I get pulled over by the police, I am scared for my life. And yes, you, Candace, may not be scared for your life. You may not. However, once again, you are not all black people. I'm going to be scared when I get pulled over because I have seen what happens. Not all police officers are the same. They're not all the same. You are trying to take something and completely twist it. That's what you're trying to do. I'm simply taking what he's saying and presenting it back to you in a way that you can understand. that people, whoever's watching this, can understand. When he says it is not enough to be not racist, you have to be anti-racist, it is not enough just to simply be white. It is not enough to just live in that system. If you're Caucasian, and you know this about yourself to be true, then you use that with the things that society has given you because of the color of your skin and because what society deems you to be in order to help push everyone forward. That's not being the white savior. That's allowing for people of different minorities to take the spotlight.
When the police pulls him over because we have nothing to hide. I don't buy in. I am not a subscriber to the idea that when a police officer pulls over Candace Owens, it's because he wants to kill her because of the color of her skin. That seems ridiculous to me, which brings me to my last point. Logan, statistics.
This is the fight we're fighting. You just said that a police officer wanted to kill a black person, you particularly, over because they want to kill you because of the color of your skin seems ridiculous. It is ridiculous because it's happening. Because it's happening. Because it is happening. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Not all black people, yes, are going to fear that. Even if you have nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. By being a little bit too aggressive, or by saying something the wrong way, or by making sure that you are not the person threatening the officer's life, and knowing your rights, something can happen. I don't like pausing. However,
Statistics. It turns out, Logan, that your emotions defy reality. The reality is that Black Americans are 13% of the population and yet commit near 50% of all the homicides in this country. The reality is that white men are actually gunned down, unarmed by police officers more often than black men by rate. Look it up. The FBI statistics are available to you too. I suggest you look up those statistics so that when you and I actually have a sit down and have a productive conversation, which I'm very much looking forward to, that you are actually armed with truth and not emotion. Thanks for joining me on this episode of
Okay, I don't want to see your ending part. However, those same statistics you're talking about show that black men are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by the police officer than their white counterparts. And here's the thing, I can understand where she's coming from. I really, truly can. I can understand the frustration that she has right now because I have to be able to see the other side in order to prove my point. Not all police officers are racist. Not all police officers are prejudiced. However, definitely, a lot of them do not understand the things they are being taught about black and brown people when it comes to policing those neighborhoods. And a message from our editor, like Candace Owens said earlier, she does not believe that she is less than a white person. None of us do, Candace. That is the whole point. None of us believe that we are less than white people. However, these are the cards that we have been dealt. We're only 156 years removed from slavery, and the civil rights movement is still going on right here, right now. None of us black people believe that we are less than white people whatsoever. However, in this system, right here, right now, based off of the facts and statistics that we have been shown across all the boards, it seems as if white people's emotions, feelings, lives, and existence is valued more than that of people of color. Logan Paul says, I've never had to fear for... The fact that a black person does have to fear for their life shows you something's wrong in the first place. I can understand where Candace is coming from. I really can. However, on this issue, she's wrong. She's wrong. She's wrong about a lot of things. And I do stand with Logan on this. Even though he's done a lot of messed up stuff in his career and is still doing those messed up things, I stand with Logan on this issue. Candace, you're wrong. Thank you.